Welcome to Hancock's VMware Half Hour. And welcome back to another Hancock's VMware Half Hour. Okay, well, lots happened in the last 3 days, really, to be honest with you. Internet's broke again. Anyway, by that I'm meaning that we've had another announcement from Broadcom. This leaked on Reddit on Monday. And if you've not already seen the little news flash, weekly news, how to not download VMware vSphere updates, Broadcom stops free updates to non-support accounts, then I'll put that in the description. But I'll just recap. And I don't know, maybe Broadcom watch these videos. Maybe I've given them an idea. I've been saying for a while now that it surprised me that, let me see, when was it? 23rd November 2023, I think, when Broadcom purchased VMware, took over VMware. So last year in November 2024 was 1 year in. But it surprised me in this time that you've still been able to do OTA, over-the-air updates, or updates using ESX CLI software VIB update, the general mechanism. The mechanism that I like to describe as the dirty mode. I don't really like it too much, to be honest with you, but it has its purpose, and it's been in place it's certainly been around since 5.0. So it's been around a long time for people to update their standalone hosts, even if they are connected to a VMware vCenter server or home labs, etc. I've been saying for a while that I've been expecting this to be paywalled. VCF is, by that I mean that you have to use a user ID and password that's accepted by the Broadcom portal in VCF to get your updates, your upgrades, whatever you want to call them. And I thought it was only a matter of time before Broadcom did the same. I do wonder whether or not that with the recent critical security update that was announced for 6.5, 6.7, 7 and 8, and of course I've done videos on all of those, so you can find them in YouTube under Hancock's VMware Half Hour. We've covered all those, but it does make me wonder whether or not that because of the huge uptake in people updating their home labs, 6.7, well 6.5 and 6.7 you can't use over the air anymore anyway, but certainly you can for 7.0 and 8.0. And of course, Broadcom, will have logging enabled on their back-end servers, and they will have gone to some sysadmin somewhere and said, run me off a report of all the unique IP addresses, please. And they probably came back with a few million or something. Not that they would have been able to allocate or work out what they might have done with some. They might have been able to work out with some what businesses they were attached to. And then they probably found out that, the vast majority of people basically using the over-the-air update were probably not subscribed, didn't have a contract. Of course, VMware vSphere vCenter Server VLCM uses the same update mechanism as well, so it would have been difficult really to distinguish between what IP addresses are using what, I would think. But ultimately, they would have the numbers to make the decision basically to close that loophole, if it is a loophole, and basically to put it behind a paywall. And that's exactly what they've done. And with very short notice, really, to be honest, but what more do you expect? So starting March 24th 2025, they'll be in this important change, and from the 24th of April 2025 you will have to change the strings that you use to use a download token. Now somebody did reach out on YouTube. Let's give him a shout out. Keith Ambio 2052. Anyway, Keith, these are for you, mate. because Keith reached out and turned around and said, well, he didn't say thank you for the video, that was somebody else. Thank you for the video. I was expecting a walkthrough of how to update new token accessing the script and manual method. Is the part of your future videos? Yes, it is part of the future videos. It's this one. So this is what we're going to do today. We're going to have a little look at how we generate the token and how we incorporate that token into the manual method, and how we actually basically look at it for the automated method. Now, if you don't have a site ID, if you don't have a contract, stop watching now, because it's going to be completely meaningless to you, any of this, because you're not going to be able to generate a download token, and therefore you're not going to be able to basically get updates anymore via VLCM, via the internet, or using that OTA, ESX, CLI, blah, 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 blah. So you might as well stop watching. Or if you do want to carry on watching, then that's fine by me. So that's the breakdown. In this video today, we're going to have a little look at the manual method. I prefer the manual method, really, to be honest with you. I don't really, I'm not in a habit of downloading scripts. I don't really know what they do, and just blindly running them. But then again, you know, I'm an old grumpy fart. So that's why. And just before I actually started doing this video, I listened to Rage Against the Machine, and to get me in the mood, I think it was Rage Against the Machine. I'd have to look back. Anyway, so I'm going on a bit. I'm going to get a slurp of espresso, and then we'll get into going to log into the Broadcom portal. I'm going to generate a download token, and then we're going to use that download token, and we'll use that download token to update VMware vCenter Server 8, but this is completely applicable to VMware vCenter Server 7. So we'll do that manually. And then what we'll also do as well, we'll have a little look through a double SSH session, because you know that I love a double SSH session. We'll have a little look at a double SSH session, and we'll try using the new URLs with and without the download token, or with a download token that's got some errors in it, and we can actually basically see that we will get a forbidden message. Now, the download token that I'm going to be using is going to be completely kosher, so I'm probably going to obscure that. I'm not really sure what would happen if I shared the token and then I revoked the token, and then that token got out into the wild, and although it would no longer be valid, not quite sure whether or not that we'd actually basically feel the wrath of Broadcom coming back to us, because obviously these tokens are traceable, so they will know. I would hope so. They will probably know what tokens are on what accounts, and they'll be able to come back and have a little chat with you. So anyway, just going to get espresso. And oh, by the way, there is a link somewhere around to buy me a coffee. If you found this video useful, then buy me a coffee. Okay, good. So let's have a little look at, very, very quickly, following on from a handful of knowledge base articles that were published on Monday, and all those are listed in that previous article. So they're all listed. Originally we had the numbers, but they weren't actually published, and then early Monday morning, I think, shortly after I published this video on YouTube, I think the kilobits, the knowledge base articles basically were published. Then shortly after, we got a blog announcement. Interestingly, as a key account holder on lots of Broadcom accounts, I've still not had a email dropped in my inbox. And I'm still sort of kind of running around talking to VMware sysadmins about this change, and they've not heard of it either. So I'm not quite sure how Broadcom thinks that we're going to hear about this. Bongo drums? Don't know. No idea. Bongo drums, smoke signals, no idea how they think that we're going to, learn of this via social media. I don't know. But anyway, so March the 24th, 2025, late on, we got this VMware by Broadcom. Important update: changes to how you download VMware software binaries. Although to be honest, really, some of us don't actually download them. VMware vCenter server downloads them, so not quite sure why they've personalized it really. As you can see, angry today. Okay, so a couple of articles here to look at, which we've got the links. I'll put all these in the description so you don't have to worry about them or go off and Google them. So if we have a look at the so there's one there that actually basically sort of kind of turns around and tells us how we do the download token. So we log into the Broadcom support portal. We select VMware Cloud Foundation. We'll see in the quick link we've got to generate download token, and we generate download token. So we'll have a look at doing that. So here we go. I'm logged into the Broadcom portal. I'm not quite sure really that there's anything on there that I have to blank out later. I don't think anything obvious on there that says who this is. Anyway, so more importantly, what we're looking for is on the right hand side there under quick links. We've got generate download token. So I'm going to click generate download token, and you'll see a great big long list of tokens that have already been generated, and more importantly the site ID. And as I was sort of saying to you before, the site ID is the one that's absolutely important, which is site ID is actually basically tied to an agreement. So if I actually basically select the site ID, then I get the option to generate the token. And it actually basically also turns around and says who's been updated by, the updated date, whether it's active, and they can be revoked. Interesting, there's no expiry date on them. I thought there would have been. I thought maybe they'd have put an expiry date on them, or you could generate a token for 365 days or something. So I don't know. Anyway, so I'm going to have to obscure all this because some of the data obviously is very sensitive. The client's sensitive, the site ID is sensitive, and obviously the email addresses there are sensitive as well. So I'm going to have to grey all that out. So I'm going to click generate token. And it says, are you sure you want to generate token? And I'm going to click submit. And it will go away, and it will, God, it's taking its while. It's generating it. Well, I'll tell you what, while it's sitting there doing that, I'm going to have a drink of my favorite soft drink, Pepsi Max. Cherry flavored. Well, I can't believe that's not finished. Maybe we've exhausted the number of tokens that were allowed. I was experimenting on the 24th. There we go. Wow, that took a while. Okay, so there's our token that's been generated on the 26th of March 2025 against my name. It's been updated. So I'm assuming here is, I think that is supposed to be copy to clipboard. Let's have a little look if it's copy to clipboard. Yep, that's copy to clipboard. So we've done away now with looking at the generating the token. I've copied that to clipboard. Finished with that article really. So let's have a little look at the bottom of that article that talks about the manual method. So this is the manual method that we're doing, not the automated scripted method. We're using the manual method. It's interesting. There was one thing I didn't do the other day, actually. I wonder whether or not that is going to make any difference. I'm just reading here that the other day I did it on a couple of, and I got to step 6, and I actually basically thought that was it. But there's a step 7 and there's a step 8, which I didn't do. So it'd be interesting to see whether or not that we have to do those. We'll do that later. We'll do that in a minute. Okay, so I'm going to copy these the URLs, and what I'll do, I'll just bring into focus there our Notepad ++. and visibly here is the token, which I'm sorry, I'm going to have to obscure that later. But what I'm going to do, just quite simply, I'm going to use a search and replace function. So I'm going to find download token. I think that's right. Open brackets, download token, square brackets, and I'm going to say replace all. There we go. So that's actually now included our token. And you will also notice that the URL is changing as well. So I think the VMware.com domain, I think will be going away. I think we will find eventually that VMware.com will disappear. I think let's see. I was right about the paywall for this, so I think the VMware.com domain is being phased out eventually. Okay, so we've incorporated our download token, which we've generated, into the strings required by VMware vCenter server VLCM. So let's go to VMware vCenter server, and let's basically go to Lifecycle Manager. This is a view that don't go to a lot, to be honest with you, really. So we're going to go to Lifecycle Manager. I'm going to click Settings. We're going to click Patch Setup. And here you can see all the old download URLs. And I think I read the other day, somebody turned around and said, I've never added any URLs to VMware vCenter server. Where on earth do they expect us to put these? Well, they're there if you go looking for them. So the first thing that we want to do is we want to disable all the current this is what's recommended. You could delete them, really. You could delete them, you could edit them, but I think the knowledge base article actually recommends that you disable them. So they're now disabled, or it says enabled, no. And then basically we are just going to add in new source URLs. So I'm just going to take these one at a time, and I'm going to paste them and create new source URLs. Now I'm going to pause this because otherwise I'm going to be editing the hell out of this video. So I'm just going to pause this and I'll come back after I've finished. So I'm back. A little bit anal of me. I actually also added the descriptions in as well. So take it from me, these last 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4. They are the new URLs that are using the download token that I generated in the Broadcom portal. And quickly after adding them, it does a quick refresh and it turns around and says connected. And I did actually go into one and edit it and actually messed around with the download token and put in a fake download token, and it didn't actually basically connect. So I'm sort of kind of the opinion that the fact that these four stay connected and they're enabled, that in the knowledge base article, it does actually say that we've got a restart update manager from the SSH session in vCenter server. Not done that. I'm just going to go sync updates and see if we get any error messages. Go back to Lifecycle Manager and let's just go sync updates, and let's just see what happens. While that is thinking, because it's stuck at the moment on 10%, so unknown. What I'm going to do, we'll have a little look. We'll revisit that at the end, and we'll see whether or not that we do have to restart the service. What I'm going to do, we're going to have a look at normally we would use So I've got, we're going to have a little look at the dirty method, the manual dirty method, or the over-the-air update. So we would normally use a command ESX CLI software profile update -P, followed by the profile -D. Let me just fetch the old URL because I've updated that, of course, in our notepad. Okay. So as if you've been watching these videos by now where I do OTA updates using the dirty method, which pulls the update down across the internet, you will know that I love a double SSH session. You know that I love the tailing the ESX update logs. So you would have seen this before. If you've looked at any of my other videos on OTA updates, you will know that this is how I do it. This is the recipe that I follow. So just to show you, we're using the same command, ESX. It's interesting, it's giving me a memory error. That is the first time that's given me a memory error. And we've covered that again, I think, and that's due to the huge amount of updates or huge amounts of information that's being processed by the Python script. And I think there's only 300 meg of memory allocated for Python. And it runs out of memory basically and falls over. We can change that and increase it to 500 and that will overcome that particular problem. But don't think that that's actually going to stop me demonstrating this not working. I don't think so. So what I was actually saying before the memory error occurred, ESX CLI software profile update -P followed by the profile followed by -D, and then of course traditionally we still are using host update -VMware-com software vum production main /vmw-depot-index.html, and I've got a -- dry run on the end, so whatever I do it's never ever going to update the host anyway. Well, that's going to go away. That's not going to work in a month's time. So if you want to carry on using the dirty method, the OTA method, and as I said to you before, I wish people wouldn't, you know, use VLCM. Takes all the heavy lifting out of it. Done a video on that as well. So in future, we're going to have to use this URL. What I'm going to do, I'm going to use the URL. I'm just going to manipulate it so that we've got a load of gibberish in the download key, because I want to force it. So that's the old URL. Well, we don't need to use the download key. This is the new download where we are going to use a download key. I'm going to do a dry run as well. But I would expect this to fail because the download key is here. And that's what's actually being checked by Broadcom to see whether or not that is a generated token. So I'm going to hit enter. And I'm hoping that we see a forbidden come back. Okay, download failed, HTTP error 404 not found. Okay. Interesting, because before, maybe it's before I actually basically saw the word forbidden. Maybe that's when I wasn't using. Let's have a little try that again. Okay. HTTP error 404 not found. Download HTTP error 404. Hang on. Just let me actually check that I am using the correct. Yeah, I think I'm using the correct depot file URL. Okay, interesting. Last time I did this, it turned around and said forbidden. Now it's actually telling me download failed. Okay, well, let's actually basically use the packer, including the download token, and we should see, hopefully, unless I've completely screwed up here and I've got the wrong. So let's just. Oh, That's either going to fail with the 404 or that's now going to work, and we're going to get the okay. Puzzled now because that's also failed as well. Let me have a look. Okay, so the second time round that I did that, there was a typo in that I actually basically missed out the .xml. So there you can see that the key that I've used, or the token that I've generated, works. And there you can see the memory error again. So just let me show you that again. If I just basically hit enter there, we're not getting any 404 this time, and it's being processed. So whatever they've got on the back end there, that download token is being checked. So quite simply, all really, that if you want to carry on using the dirty method or the OTA method, is just drop your generated token in that new URL. That's all that's required. And as I said, we're going to get a memory error. So let's just go back and see where we are with sync updates. 20%. So that doesn't really, at the moment, really turn around and tell me whether it's working or not working. Or is just basically sitting there retrying and retrying. So I think we're going to have to wait and come back and see what happens there with. Well, I'll tell you what we'll do. Let's just carry on. I'm not going to SSH into VMware vCenter server. What I'm going to do, I'm just going to log into the VAMI interface, and let's go back over here. And it turned around and said it was the update manager that wanted to be restarted, and then basically go and do action sync. So let's just have a little look at update manager. I just saw it there. VMware vCenter server lifecycle manager, update manager. So let's just so let's just VMware vSphere update manager. So let's just give it a good restart, give it a good kicking. Okay, so that's restarted. So we didn't have to go to and do the old SSH stuff and do that. We can do it via VAMI. Let's actually basically go back. There was a problem with the notification mechanism of data. Yeah, okay, very good. So let's now basically do sync updates again. Okay, so we've restarted the update manager service through VAMI. It wouldn't have made any difference whether we did that via VAMI or we did that via SSH. We've hit the sync update button again. And to be honest with you, really, got another sync update appeared there now. Doesn't seem to be any faster than before. So I think really we're just having to be patient and wait and see whether or not that actually completes without any error message. And then I think we can assume that change has gone through correctly. One of the things I actually wanted to do, I wanted to revoke a download key. And I actually basically wanted to see whether or not that also failed as well. So I was going to go back to the portal. I was going to revoke the key that we've created. And see whether or not that everything would balk then. But maybe we'll just have to be patient and wait. Okay, what I'm going to do, I'm going to stop recording now. I'm going to leave this progress. I'm going to go back and do these edits on this video, and then I'll just come back and tag on a little summary at the end and say, yeah, it worked, or no, it didn't. Because I'm not hanging around here watching paint dry, watching a dialog box increase. Anyway, so I will be to say we're coming up to about 30 minutes, and this is Hancock's VMware half hour. It's not Hancock's VMware all day. So I'll be back shortly, and we'll, as I said, it's time stamped, so we can get a good idea as to how long sync updates should take. The fact that this is, I said, to be honest, you don't normally pay much attention to syncing updates, but it's certainly not internet access. That's fast enough here, really, to be honest, to cope with this. This almost suggests to me, really, that it's just struggling. And I think I got, well, the fact that these actually say connected suggests to me that they're okay. Anyway, we'll leave it and we'll come back. We'll be patient and we'll see whether or not that we get any error messages. As downloaded content, we're going to be clicking on updates, sync updates. It doesn't really actually conclude with if you get the error messages, you've got them wrong. Anyway, so be patient, I think, is the answer, and I'll come back and wrap this video up when that's complete. Okay, so sometime later that day, in fact, actually, it disappeared like things do in VMware vCenter server. It disappeared off the recent tasks when I went back to look, because I've been editing the video that you'll be watching. So I've gone into task console and had a little look, and both tasks actually took 23 minutes and 38 seconds or 22 minutes and 44 seconds to state completed. So we don't really know whether or not that restarting the services and syncing updates really is required. Anyway, that's what the knowledge base article says do. Sync updates, I'm going to go back and another site that I've not restarted the service on, and I'm going to do exactly the same thing. In fact, maybe I'll do that now. That's a good idea. Tell you what, I'll come back again, and I'll let you know whether or not that is really required. Because on the other sites that I've done, I didn't follow 7, I didn't follow 8. So I'll go and hit the button on those sites and see whether or not that we get an error message there, and then I can actually basically finally give you the kosher answer, the pucker answer, as to whether or not that syncing updates and restarting services is really required. Anyway, so I'll come back again, and then that'll be it finally, and then hopefully then I can get on with doing what I need to do. All right, okay. So yeah, microphone was off, not good. Okay, so I just actually checked a couple of sites, 4 in fact, and all the synchronized updates actually worked without me doing a restart of update manager service from an SSH session, although I didn't do that anyway. I used VMware. I didn't do that, and I synchronized updates using the new generated download token, and synchronized updates have worked across 4 sites. So I don't think it's neat necessarily, but let's just put that caveat in there. Your mileage may vary if things don't work as planned after you've made those changes and you didn't do 7 and you didn't do 8. Then maybe you need to do 7 and you need to do 8. Anyway, so all there is for me to say, I've ran out of Pepsi Max and no more espresso in my cup. So in this video, just to summarize really what we've done, important update changes are coming. They are now live. So after the 23rd of April, I think I've read, which is St. George's Day, after the 23rd of April 2025, you will be required to implement the download token function by going to the Broadcom portal, selecting your site ID against your agreement number, generating a token, copying and pasting that token. And in this video, we looked at the manual method where I pasted that download token into the URLs as described in this knowledge base article, and I replaced them in VMware vCenter server. I also demonstrated if you want to carry on using that horrible dirty method. And when I say dirty method, what I mean by it is I feel dirty in doing it that way. Just to explain that, few people have asked why I call it the dirty method. I personally feel dirty when I use the ESX CLI, and that's why I would encourage you to use VLCM. I've used the manual method to demonstrate that if you actually use the dirty method or the over-the-air update and you put your token in, you can still basically maintain updates. If you don't include the token, it's not going to function. If the token that's there is bad, it's not going to function either. So all there is for me to say is we'll do another quick video on the automatic method. In that video, I'm not going to go into details as to how we generate the token. I've covered it in this video. I'm just going to show you how the script runs. I was going to say something then. It's PowerShell. I was going to use another word to what I commonly refer to PowerShell as. Anyway, the script is PowerShell, I believe. So we'll do a short video on that. This is the manual method. So again, thank you very much for watching another video from Hancock's VMware half hour. If you like this video, then please like it and thumbs up and subscribe. If you don't like the video, then please thumbs down and let me know why you don't like the video in the description. Again, if you've got questions or comments or you want videos doing, then just put them in the description and we'll add them to the list. And let's just sort of kind of go back to the very beginning where we started. And again, thanks to Keith Ambio 2052. This is the video for you, mate, that you wanted. I hope it's not too late. It was only a day ago ish on the 24th that our Broadcom basically dropped the bomb about important updates, changes to how you download your VMware software binaries. So once again, thank you very much and goodbye. Oh, and I've got to answer the door because I think somebody's at the door. Okay, now all the best and goodbye.